Hello, I'm Dr. Evans, your dedicated health advisor for seniors, so make sure to watch until the very end for a tip that could completely transform your daily routine.
Last summer, my friend Gerald, 71 years old, retired teacher, healthy as far as anyone knew, spent a Saturday afternoon working in his yard. It was a hot day. Not dangerous hot, just regular summer hot. The kind of day most of us have worked through 100 times in our lives. When he finally came inside, he did exactly what most people do. He went straight for the refrigerator, grabbed the coldest water he could find, and drank it down fast. Then he sat in front of his air conditioner and let the cold air wash over him. Within 20 minutes, Gerald was on the floor. His wife found him and called 911. At the hospital, the cardiologist told the family something that none of them had ever heard before. The way Gerald cooled down after working in the heat had placed enormous and sudden stress on his heart. For a man his age, with arteries that had naturally stiffened over the decades, that rapid temperature shift was more than his cardiovascular system could handle. Gerald survived, but he spent 4 days in the cardiac unit, and his life changed permanently that afternoon. Here's what shook me most when I heard this story. Gerald did nothing that any of us wouldn't do. He came in from the heat and tried to cool down. That's it. There was no dramatic warning, no chest pain building slowly over hours, just a normal summer afternoon and one habit that almost cost him everything. And the frightening truth is this: most people over 60 are making this exact same cooling mistake, completely unaware of what it does to the aging heart. So today I want to walk you through exactly what happens inside your cardiovascular system when you cool down too fast, the specific mistakes that put seniors at the highest risk, and the simple way to cool down safely that protects your heart every single time. Mistake number 1: drinking ice-cooled water when your body is overheated. This is the most common one, and it feels so natural that almost nobody questions it. You come in from the heat, you're sweating and uncomfortable, and your instinct is to grab the coldest drink possible and drink it fast. But here's what's actually happening inside your body in that moment. When you've been out in the heat, your blood vessels, particularly the ones near the surface of your skin, have dilated or widened to help release body heat. Your heart rate has increased. Your entire cardiovascular system is working in an active, expanded state to keep you cool. When you suddenly introduce ice-cold liquid into that system, your body reacts with a rapid reflex called thermal shock. Your blood vessels constrict suddenly. Your heart, which was already working harder than normal, now receives a jarring and abrupt signal to change gears in an instant. In younger bodies with flexible, elastic arteries, this adjustment happens quickly and without incident. But after 60, arterial stiffness, a natural part of aging that is heavily documented in cardiovascular research, means the vessels cannot adjust smoothly to that sudden change. The result is a dangerous spike in blood pressure and cardiac stress that can, in vulnerable individuals, trigger a cardiac event. A study published in the journal Circulation found that cold water immersion and rapid thermal changes triggered measurable spikes in heart rate and systolic blood pressure in adults over 65, particularly those with any pre-existing arterial stiffness, even when that stiffness had caused no prior symptoms. The fix is simple but counterintuitive. When you come in from the heat, drink water that is cool but not ice cold. Room temperature or slightly chilled is ideal. Drink it slowly over several minutes rather than all at once. Give your cardiovascular system the time it needs to transition gradually. Mistake number 2: sitting or lying directly in front of an air conditioner after heat exposure. This one is almost universally done and almost universally misunderstood. People come in from the outside, they're hot, and they plant themselves right in front of an air conditioner or fan and let the cold air blast directly onto their skin. The problem is almost identical to the cold water issue, but it affects the body through a different mechanism. When cold air hits your overheated, dilated skin rapidly, it triggers a sudden peripheral vasoconstriction, meaning the blood vessels near your skin's surface clamp down all at once. This forces a rapid redistribution of blood volume toward the body's core. For the heart, this is a sudden flood of increased blood returning to the cardiac chambers all at once. Think of it like a river that has been flowing at a steady pace suddenly having a dam opened upstream. The heart has to handle that surge immediately, and for an aging cardiovascular system, that surge can cause arrhythmia, an irregular heartbeat, or in more severe cases, precipitate a cardiac attack. A 2021 report from the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology noted that sudden ambient temperature drops experienced by older adults, particularly those moving rapidly from hot outdoor environments into heavily air-conditioned spaces, were associated with a statistically significant increase in acute cardiac events in the 60 and older population. The safe approach is to step into a cool room and let your body adjust to the ambient temperature naturally, rather than positioning yourself directly in the path of cold airflow. Give yourself at least 15 to 20 minutes in a moderately cool space before lowering the temperature further. Your heart will adjust at a pace it can manage. Mistake number 3, jumping into a cold shower immediately after heavy sweating. Warning: this mistake is slightly less common than the first two, but it's significantly more dangerous, and it tends to happen to the most active seniors, the gardeners, the golfers, the walkers who push themselves on warm days and then come straight inside and step into a cold shower to freshen up fast.
The cold shower combines both of the previous mechanisms at once. Your entire body surface is suddenly hit with cold water simultaneously. Every blood vessel near the skin constricts at exactly the same moment. The volume shift to the heart's core happens in a matter of seconds rather than minutes. And critically, the cold water also activates what's called the diving reflex, a hardwired physiological response that dramatically slows the heart rate almost instantly. For an older heart that was already elevated from physical activity, this combination of sudden bradycardia, a sharp drop in heart rate, combined with the simultaneous blood pressure spike from vasoconstriction, creates a cardiovascular whiplash effect that the research community has linked directly to sudden cardiac events in older adults. A landmark study published in the British Medical Journal observed that cold water shock responses were significantly more pronounced in adults over 60 compared to younger populations, noting that the cardiac response time, the time it takes the heart to regulate after a cold shock, was nearly 3 times slower in older adults. The safe alternative is to begin your shower at a warm or lukewarm temperature and gradually reduce it over the course of several minutes if you prefer a cooler finish. Never step directly into cold water after physical exertion or significant heat exposure. And if you have any known cardiovascular conditions at all, discuss your post-exercise cooling routine specifically with your doctor. Gerald's story isn't unusual. Cardiologists see cases like his every summer, and the heartbreaking part is that almost every one of them was preventable with information most people simply were never given. Here's what I want you to walk away with today. Your heart after 60 is not the same heart you had at 35. That's not a weakness. That's simply the reality of an aging cardiovascular system, and it deserves to be respected and understood. When you come in from the heat, take it slowly. Cool water, not ice water. A cool room, not a cold blast. A warm shower that eases down, not a cold shock. Small adjustments, real protection. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Did you know about any of these 3 cooling mistakes before watching this video? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you have someone in your life over 60 who spends time outdoors in the summer, please share this with them. It could genuinely make a difference. If this video was helpful, I hope you'll hit subscribe so we can keep taking care of each other. Stay cool, stay safe, and as always, breathe easy, my friend.